You drank a large bottle of beer, Seattle beer, in honor of me being out here in the Pacific Northwest, and I've decided that this time, before I do my video, I'm going to get drunk too, just like you did. But instead of drinking a large bottle of beer, I'm going to do it in a single shot. This is Everclear. And I'm keeping this on camera the whole time so that you know I'm not making this up. No trick shots here. I'm going to be taking just under 1.5 ounces of straight Everclear. This ought to be entertaining. I'm going to let this settle in for a little bit after I take it, and then I'm going to shoot my video. So the only cutscene we're going to get is when I go back to my video. Smooth. Oh, fuck. That is fucking horrible. Oh my God. That's 95 proof, or not 95 proof, 95% alcohol by volume. 190 proof. Almost pure alcohol. Oh shit. I'll be back. I can't find the pause button. Shit. Okay, Chris, I'm back. It's been a few minutes since I've taken it. I can already start it feeling to hit me. And I had to get a glass of milk. And this is what I'm sipping on for now because my throat is ripped apart. That shit is vicious. Oh my God. Anyway, about your lunatics talking about conspiracy theories. The problem with trying to convince them that the moon wasn't built or that the Russians weren't here is it's the same thing as Russell's teapot. I've been watching a whole lot of atheist videos. And as you know, I'm an atheist. And I'm sorry, my throat is still jacked up from taking that shot. You can't disprove that. That's the whole argument of the flying spaghetti monster and Russell's teapot. And for anybody who's watching who doesn't know what Russell's teapot is, this philosopher, whose name I can't remember except that his last name was Russell, in the discussion of deities, he said, well, there's a teapot and it's circling the sun and none of your modern equipment can find it. It's so small and so close to the sun and durable, obviously, otherwise it would melt, that none of our equipment can find it, so disprove it. And this works like the flying spaghetti monster or the pink unicorns or whatever other one you want. You can't disprove something like that. The claim must be falsifiable for it to be valid. So there's no way to falsify that. There's no way to show that it might not be true because there's absolutely no evidence for it. If I say that there's unicorns on the other side of this camera, anybody who's watching... Sorry. Anybody who's watching can't say anything about that because there's just nothing they can do. They won't believe me, but yeah, whatever. So whoever you're talking to about the constructed moon built to punish us for our labor shortages, or Obama taking help from, I almost said Rasputin, not Putin, whatever, crazy Russians either way. There's nothing you can do. And as for the uptick in the conspiracy theories, I think we should, in honor of your situation, name this uptick Obama's moon. I like that. I think that sounds good. It can be like Russell's teapot or the flying spaghetti monster. We should call it Obama's moon. I have no idea where I'm going with this. I made notes to make sure I didn't miss anything because there's a lot of shit that you covered. Your comment about us talking about... Sorry, not only am I getting a little bit of buzzed from taking a single shot of Everclear, one, not two, but the discomfort in my throat is very distracting. There are positive superstitions. See a penny, pick it up, and all day long you'll have good luck, and other things like that. They exist out there. So, there are positive ones. But going back to the whole Russell's Teapot portion of this conversation that I'm going in and out of. Wow, that's really starting to hit me kind of hard. The tiger in the bush with superstitions. The prehistoric man that heard the rustling in the grass and believed it to be a tiger was more likely to survive. I'm completely in agreement with this. And the funny thing is, this is actually Pascal's wager in action. This is like an evolutionary motive for Pascal's wager, and part of the reason why many of the modern religions exist. Because, as my father once said to me, what if you're wrong? What if God really does exist? And you, my son, as an atheist, you don't believe in him. What have you got to lose? Well, there's plenty that I've got to lose. A lot of fun, like making these videos because I was raised Mormon, which I'm not anymore. Oh, and I wouldn't be able to make social drinking because I wouldn't be allowed to drink. But yes, the superstitions... It's all Pascal's wagers. There are positive superstitions. It's not everybody, you know, pick every mushroom and eat it, every mushroom you come across, because it's a magic mushroom and it'll get you stoned. It's much subtler things like find a penny and pick it up. You asked me to talk about the political situation, and I have to admit I didn't really do a lot of reading before you prompted me on that. Thank you for actually forcing me to look into it. I hadn't really bothered because I didn't have anybody to talk with about it. Fuck. My throat hurts. But Bernie Sanders, he is the leftist. That's the best thing I can say, because he calls himself a democratic socialist. And he's the left version of a Tea Party candidate, because he's kind of an... I hesitate to call him a nutbag, but he's very, very left. And we've got a lot of people who are coming into this election, and they're going to be very, very right. Right isn't right on the political spectrum, not right isn't correct. I want to make sure I make that clear. And just out of curiosity, speaking about your prompt, how the hell did you win the last conversation? First of all, I wasn't even in a competition with you in any explicit sense, but no, you didn't win. I challenge you to explain to me how you won. Hang on, let me check it out. Where was I? Oh, Bernie Sanders, Democratic Socialist, he's not going to win. He's too far left. That's the real problem. He's got some interesting ideas, but he is a socialist. He admits to being a bit of a socialist. And even though out here in Seattle, Seattle recently elected a certifiable, her party alliance is the Socialist Party. We did elect a socialist to the city council. It was a very close run race, and she almost didn't get elected. So I do not see how somebody who uses the word socialist to describe themselves is going to get elected in the modern political atmosphere of the United States. Because just using that word scares people. It doesn't matter how many people in practice work like socialists. Like, the entire Mormon church is very socialistic. Everybody pays this tithing, 10% of their gross income, at least they're supposed to. And then that money is redistributed within the church. It is used to build the public buildings, the church buildings. It is used to purchase food and toiletries and other household goods that are then given, just straight up given, to the poorer members of the church in exchange for a small amount of labor. When I was a kid, my family did actually have to take part in this, and I did work in what was called the bishop's storehouse with another very poor family in my church, my specific ward. So the Mormons are very socialist, but they won't ever use that term because it is a death sentence for them. If they admitted to engaging in socialistic activities, then they would, like, people would leave in droves because they used the dreaded S word. I actually recently saw a comedian who talked about communism, and I thought his handling of it was very funny. Lunatic British guy whose name I can't remember right now. He was in Get Him to the Greek. I can't remember his name. What is it? Anyway, he said he looked up communism, and what it basically means is share it. And, kind of. But these words in modern U.S. politics are just dangerous to bandy about. And calling yourself a democratic socialist like Bernie Sanders it's a non-starter. He's never going to make it. Even with Democrats, the extreme left Democrats, using the word socialist is bad news. It's bad form, as it were. But to be fair, he's not much worse than some of the other ones. Ted Cruz has proposed completely disbanding the IRS. And this is how I heard it stated, and I do not understand how you could even manage to do that, because if you don't have the IRS, who's going to collect the taxes? Apparently, on digging into his proposed method a little bit deeper, he's not actually talking about getting rid of the IRS in totem. He's talking about getting rid of like 99% of it and then putting the entire country on a flat tax, which is just stupid. Because even if you gave everybody the exact same tax rate of 20%, and you only did that based on the amount of money they made at their job, there are certain CEOs, to look all super awesome, who will take a $1 salary, which means they have to pay 20 cents in taxes for their salary for that year. And it doesn't even touch the capital gains taxes of these people who have hundreds of millions of dollars sometimes in investments that aren't income. They're capital gains. It's a different kind of category. It works a little bit differently. And I think I'm getting some of the finesse mixed up here, because I'm not good at taxes. I had to go to a tax person to get my taxes figured out because I've been screwing them up for a couple of years now, and it's just, anyway. So I've got this wrong. Somebody, don't crucify me, just correct me. But a flat tax, it's a bad idea, because rich people can pay 20% of their income, of their any amount of money they make in a year, and not bat an eye. But poor people, 20% of the money they make, that's a huge chunk. And even if you take off like the mortgage interest, which he wants to do, and increase the per child deduction to $2,500, which is what he's talking about, and even if you included people who live below the poverty level, giving them a deduction for being dirt poor, you still have people who are just above that poverty level who can't afford to pay a flat tax. It sounds nice, but it's not gonna work. That's really all I got about it right now. Those are the two biggest things that stuck in my mind. I just read an article by Simon Hirsch, I think, who was claiming that the White House's handling of the story about killing Osama bin Laden is a fabrication. I only read a couple articles on it, so I have no idea if there's any accuracy in there. It sounds like Hirsch's article claiming that the White House lied is BS. But that's just a kind of surface reading of the situation. I mean, it's not like our government's never lied to us before. Tuskegee experiments. Sorry, I gotta throw that one in there. That one really bothers me. Other than that, the only word of advice I have is next time you shoot a video, you need to do it in the same location, but lower yourself down a little bit, because you had that light that was kind of on your shoulders, and it would give you this awesome kind of halo, and that would just be amazing in your video. I'll see you later, Chris.